that they exhumed in the Americas, and they took them, the Smithsonian took them, they reported it in the newspaper years ago, but then they told them, oh, we made a mistake. That wasn't the giant bones. Oh, and they got pictures of it. Right. So
well,
the stories of giants go all the way. They shoot the Titans was giants. So Europe had it.
Right.
He's doing it.
So that's
okay,
not an isolated concept to any one geography of the planet.
No,
It's
hear me out.
commonly accepted by all of our ancestors around the world that at one time we was huge.
But hear me out. What I'm saying to you is that.
Wait, hold on. Just stay there, Yosef. Let Sister Freedom go in peace, OTK. He's gonna go out, but stay there with your questions.
First, let me say what I wanted to say to the brother, because he may want to go down. I wanted to make sure you understood I meant no disrespect by stating that you may not be worried about it. I'm saying, yes, I understand why you were saying that, but I was saying that the danger in the comments, what's happening now to the people because of the statements, is what I'm worried about. You understand what I'm saying to the Haitian brother? Can you hear me?
Two Grand, she's talking to you. She's trying to make sure you're not taking any offense to what she said. Right. 2 Grand.
Oh no! I don't take offense. I'm here to chat. I'm here to listen as well. No. I get it. I definitely understand. I have no offense taken.
Now, from the comments, is what I don't like. And for the people that are not Haitian, but just have hue in their, that are melanated, they're getting the same torture because of that's very dangerous, because it can happen because people make negative statements, and for some reason people latch on to the negative statements, and it can just grow all over the world. You know what I mean? So it won't just happen in Ohio. It can happen here and everywhere else because of those statements. Now, I just wanted to say that. But Rod, this is a question that I wanted to ask you. With what he is saying about the giants and how the pyramids may have been made by somewhat giants, this is what I want to ask you. Why couldn't the world just have ended, and nature, because she replenishes herself and she redoes things, things now they find in buildings and all kinds of stuff that are sunk down, trees and everything are sunk down in the ground and underneath water and sunk all the way down and all that. Why couldn't the world just have ended and we're just a new type of people? Is that possible?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
I'm asking Rod. I just want to hear his take. No disrespect. I wanted to hear Rod's take on that.
I keep telling everybody, we live as eternal beings, and at every change of the age, the paradigm has to change. Over so many changes, things like the pyramid become obsolete to the optimum growth of the spiritual development, which is the underlying purpose of the construct. So to continue on forward, you must do away with old things and usher in the new.
Right.
Over time, entropy sets in the form of laziness of man. This sends you into a stupor where the society has collapsed to the point where it became so good that everybody is pampered. So now the society is destined to crash because nobody wants to do the necessary work to maintain the structure of the highly evolved society. So you crash it, reset the system, and start all over again and create cycles within cycles. The patterns and pattern recognition developed allows you to read in nature. Your pattern recognition is usurped in modern education. Your creativity is usurped. Your desire to be something great in the world is put a lid on because you have to be socially engineered to maintain the construct for the people that's in the places of power. Yes, the civilizations collapse all the time and they reemerge like the phoenix from its ashes. Right now, we're at the close of an age and the collapsing of every system around the world. It's going on as we speak. And also, while the old system is crumbling, a new system is emerging. This new system is the system that brings in the heaven on earth period called a golden age by occultists. The golden age is taking place within a bigger iron age, which is a double metal. So when we go through all of these cycles, we downgraded the 13 strand DNA, which sized down the size of the physical being. You are 2-strand DNA now. You are upgraded, right? Because now you only have to deal with the opposites. You don't have to deal with the full 12 parts of the zodiac. You only have to deal with your cut of the pie, right? And that stops you at 32 degrees. That's where the knowledge is frozen, right? To break from that, you need somebody to lift you up to another 1 1/3 degree to get you above the freezing point of thinking, right? All of this comes with the collapsing of the old and the ushering in of the new. Ain't none of this stuff outside of our experience. The only thing that's outside of our experience is the amnesia that we take on to relearn the world all over again from scratch, as if we was ignorant. So you come in as the infant, now you've crashed your intelligence. And now you need a programmer. So your mama become your programmer, your first nurse. And we didn't know she wasn't God until they gave us somebody called Jesus Christ.
That part.
Now they trying to convince us that our source of existence is not the source, but the representation of the source is what we need to aspire to. A copycat, a replica, a poor carbon copy, right? We aspire to become what our mothers birthed us to be. If we override the society, we can get above the 33 1/3 of frozen information and barely thought out thinking. All this stuff is relative. What you're looking at with the the movie stars collapsing, the media stars collapsing, the political establishment crumbling, that's the death of an old system. In order for the new system to take hold, the old system has to be shut down completely, which results in the blackout to confirm the full shutdown of the old system. Everything off. Now somebody got to tell us, EBS, why everything off. A new system is taking place. The new system coming on is supposed to be more organic, but highly technical in technology. So the people going to be encouraged to go back to the land, but many other people are going to aspire to dabble with the higher technologies. And sometimes you can marry the two in order to create a new paradigm. All these things is necessary.
And you know what else needs to be added on to there too? Because not everyone's going to be able to make it. Not everyone is going to make it, right? Like if you think about even the connections, and if you think about all the whole, in terms of creating this new, not everyone's going to make it. Just like in every holy book, right? You know, they always talk about the select few, the chosen, if you will. Right? So in this new world, in this paradigm shift that you're talking about, would you agree with my statement that not everyone is meant to make it, is supposed to make it?
They're not.
True.
Look, only so many people can win in the marathon. The rest of them is just the extras. Only so many people stand on in the winner's circle, first, second, third place.
Take it back to
1 second, y'all said 1 second. No. 1 second, because after him is OTK, and then it's gonna go in you. So like order. So Rod is gonna finish, and then OTK, then you.
Yeah. So, no, everybody not gonna make it. Everybody not supposed to make it, right? And it's not a knock to the people that don't make it, because maybe they'll make it in the next run. It's like a graduating class. The whole high school don't graduate at the same time. The freshmen still got to put in their work before they become seniors. It's the same way with the ascension process. Those that's capable of doing the self-work, the purification of the ego, and the understanding of the spiritual information they receiving and acting on it, then they're going to easily make it. But you got the ones still stumbling around in the dark, barely woke. They might make it, and then they might not. They might never be able to break out of the slumber enough to make it. But everybody not supposed to make it.
Yeah. And that's the trick bag. You could be on a precipice of it. You could almost touch it, right? But the one thing that's going to hold a lot of people back is thinking that everybody's supposed to come with them. You got to drop the weight. That's one of the hardest things to do, especially when you put labels on people, or your assumption is because we the same skin color that makes us kin. No, baby, no, it doesn't. You're going to have to choose up. You're going to have to choose wisely, because everybody can't make it to the end of the finish line with you. That's a fact. And the trick bag is that people think that they're supposed to carry everybody with them.
Look, some of the people that's going to be in the winner's circle is some of the least likely people you would expect. And some of the people that don't make it, you swear up and down that they was going to make it. Appearances don't determine the outcome. Right? It's different levels to everything in life. Everybody talk about they don't need a leader, but they ain't going nowhere. And what's the purpose of a leader? Show you the way. To show you the way is different from telling you the way. So you live the life, you walk the path. Once you know the path, you go back and bring many other soldiers with you as possible. But everybody ain't gonna want to come. Some of them don't want to make it. Some of them don't want to see the hereafter. Some of them rather give up the ghosts than endure to the end for the crown of life. This struggle ain't for everybody. That's why everybody ain't gonna be there. And don't worry about letting them go. The universe gonna let them go for you. It's natural order. And if the order is natural, watch what happens naturally. Now that's going back to nature.
Fire. Pop, 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 pop.
Peace, OTK. Thank you for coming and joining us.
Yeah, hey, what's up, goddesses? Man, I don't know. Hey, listen, when y'all do a show, y'all gonna have to do a post and send y'all alerts out again, because I'm telling y'all, they're doing something to us. That's how you know we hitting home. We hitting home, y'all. You know what I mean? But yeah, I didn't even get the alert. I was live and I didn't even get the alert. So I ended my live and came over here. You know, and then when I came over here and I heard my name, and you was talking about the Giants, yeah, but I wait on that, man, because Chief, he was cooking, you know what I'm saying? I relinquish my time to let him go ahead and finish cook real quick, and then I come back and build, man. Shout out to Copper Draco and the goddesses, man. Peace to everybody on the panel. Word, I let him go ahead and cook, and then, you know, because But I want to have a bill with him. I don't know how much time he got, but I want to have a bill with him because I know
you here now? You here now? You might as well start putting some books on this wall.
1 second. Do me a favor, Rod. Tell me your Cash App again, because I just remembered we gotta post this. He's giving y'all this good knowledge for free. Let's bless him, okay? That's one way that at least we can say thank you. Let's bless him. How you spell? I always forget how to spell your thing. SIK.
It's $, capital S, lowercase IK, capital A, lowercase PE.
Okay. Okay, so $, capital SIK, capital KAPE.
Capital APE. Ain't there's only one K, it's lowercase.
Okay. All right.
I just
so capital SIKAPE.
Capital APE.
Oh, right. Okay, gotcha.
And I dropped the link again. Please, somebody that has not subscribed, please subscribe. And I did drop the link again for those who were asking.
Yeah, I'm definitely saying something. You already know. That be me, Chief. You see, FDA's lands. That's me.
Hey, Copper Drake, can you mute?
That's me. Hey, Copper Drake. When you see that LJ landscaping that hit you up the first couple of times, that's me. Yeah, that's me right there, bro. Yeah, I supported you the first couple of times you came across it. Anytime I see you, I'm gonna make sure I do that, man. And I appreciate you for coming through with the sisters, man, with the goddess, them, man, and building with them, man. That's powerful, because sometimes we get to a statue to where we can't bring ourselves back down, even though these goddesses is on the same level as us or bigger than us. We feel like they not in the level of us, and there's some people out here that don't feel like they should come and kick it with these goddesses. They feel, and that's that. Man, I appreciate you. I'll just tell you like that. You, Top Cats, and the other brothers that's them out there, man, that's doing these things, Master Chief and the BCU, that's doing these things, man. Keep on doing what you do, man. Just don't forget about us. But I'm gonna let Copper Draco go, and then I ain't going nowhere. Rod, we're gonna build, man. I'm gonna send something through the Cash App. Maybe that can help you stay for a little while longer.
I don't do nothing for money. When I leave, I was gonna leave anyway, no matter how much money was involved.
I'm gonna pay you for your time. How about that? You know what I mean?
Well, look, I appreciate the support in any form it comes. The energy is exchanged, whether it's just a love, a salute. And a Cash App is the least of my worries. I mean, I appreciate it. I accept it with gratitude so it can return to you with gratitude in a bigger sum, but I don't do nothing for money. I do this for the people. Because my mama told me, as long as you do something for money, somebody can buy your soul. So I can't do it for the money, but I can accept the donations for those who have the gratitude.
Papa Draco, go ahead. You was next,
Papa
man.
Draco, go ahead. You was next, man.
Is my mic still tripping? Hey, Rod. Yeah, you a different type of nigga, man. I wanted to ask you, whatever happened to the first Sergeant Dobie? Like, whatever happened to all those videos, man?
I don't know. That was one of the channels that used to share my video.
Man, hey, you was slaying them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I came across you, was First Sergeant Dobie, and yeah, that was overkill. But I wanted to ask you though. They say the Moors. I mean, I hear a lot of Moors say you can't be two things at once. You can't be a Blood and a Crip. You can't be a Moor and a Mason. But I want to ask how you feel about the Moors, right?
Can you mute up? I'm sorry, Copper Draco. No
Yeah.
offense. It's just that there's an echo.
Look, you got two groups of Moors. The term Moor is a catch term. It was to group the nappy-haired organic people in with the nappy-head exiles from Europe. The George Washington Challenge said that in 200 years that we won't know what side of the water we from. The winner is the one who can not only answer what side of the water he from, but show you where the challenge was, who issued the challenge, under what pretense, where did this come from. This is all conjure work done in Masonic lodges. And this is why you can't be a Moor and a Mason, but all of the Masons is Moors, right? Under the banner of war. They grouped in the ones with the contract is grouped in with the ones that have no contract. The ones that have no contract is the original people of the land that the government classify as the outlaw tribes, the non-treaty tribes. Bounties was literally put on our head by the United States government as they made their way west across our land against our will. We was basically being socially raped by the corporation that was masquerading as our government, right? So, my man taking me somewhere. So, all these different things has been used to move us from our position. And it was something I wanted to say earlier about the Africans populating the world. All of the people with the nappy hair, not the same organic genetic stock. And when you see these people come over, they came as Huguenots and conquistadors under the French and under the Spanish. And they came in under the English out of the royal families as the white man to carry out the white man's burden to convert everybody to Christianity under the discovery doctrine of the Pope, right? This was all part of the conflict between the tribes. So they packed us like sardines as if we weren't people and classified us as Moors. The ones who came from Europe job was to disrupt the ones from the land from figuring out that this is not Northwest Africa. They were supposed to convince us that this is Northwest Africa, aka Al Maghrib, where the exiles of Europe was sent when they got kicked out of Europe, right? But the irony of it is when they came over here, we knew where they came from and how they got here, right? And these was the ones we've been fighting the whole time. And they've been using pale faces to block us out of institutions. The answer for pale faces blocking us out of institutions is overrun institutions with friendly pale faces. So what do America do? They invite all of Europe's pale faces over here. We only want the sorcerers. We only want the witches and the warlocks to fight this spiritual war that they brought on us. So they brought us Celtic sciences, right? Coming from the tribes of the Orisha land that they call Ireland now, right? So the dirty Moors is the ones who's trying to usurp us. They are Moorish Jews. They are Canaan land Moors. But the ones who know who we are is trying to assert jurisdictional authority in the land of the Americas by the blood and the right of the tribes to cancel all of the contracts they had with the Moors. By canceling the contract, now we have sole jurisdiction of our organic homeland, as is shown in the Indigenous Rights Act of the United Nations and the Indigenous Rights Act of the United States, that ties to the continuity of government between the U.S. government and tribal leadership under the FEMA program. Right? So them was the ones we was at war with. And now the war over with and they butt sore. That's what I think about it.
Can I expand on your question really quick, Copper Draco? I just wanted to ask, since he brought up Masons, is there such thing as a clean Mason and dirty Masons, or would you say all the Masons are dirty?
So you got contracted Masons and non-contracted Masons. The non-contracted Masons is the ones that walk the land, and they call operative Masons. The contracted Masons is under the European royal families, and they are called Freemasons. Free and accepted rights of the Scottish Rite and free and accepted rights of the York Rite. They contracted to never reveal a secret. And the secret is the content of the war, because the chief that has to educate himself out of the condition has to be kept in the dark by the brotherhood. And they got to constantly beat him around off a 2-ball cane while he figure out who he is on the land. So he's the non-contracted Mason, the black bone, the stone the builders rejected, and he's fighting in this conflict with the contracted Masons, whose job is to keep him blind. But the operative Masons is to offer up knowledge freely without request for compensation, because it's already paid for if your brother have it and you are your brother's keeper. Those are so this is the ancient rites of passage in the royal families of the temple priests that's been expanded to operate in the society as it governs how the society run, and the different ones of the bloodline go through the operative put it back together phase, restore your memory phase, and reclaim the land phase. Right? So you get the good Masons are the ones who's not contracted, because they are trying to share knowledge and raise each other up until they raise one up that's so skilled among them that he can solve the problem. So those are the differences in the Masons as well as the Shriners, because you got contracted Shriners that's under the threat of death with the sword on their fez, and then you had a non-contracted Shriners who wears nothing on the fez, and the only concern is the children. Right? So that's how you know the difference, because they following a lodge function purpose, because the Shriners is supposed to be under the jurisdiction of the patron saint of the children.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So their whole mission is do what you can to take care of the children. So this is why you got Shriners hospitals everywhere. And the shrine used to host the circus before it became ridiculously expensive to go, because you were supposed to expose your children to the what they call them not anomalies, to the oddities of the world. It give them an alternate paradigm of perception. Right? So you got the ones that non-contracted, and all of the ones contracted is the dirt players. Them the ones that we can't stand, because all of the ones contracted are the ones that we say sold they sold.
Hey, I got you. You
ever
want me
been
to say no more?
Right, you ever been a Mason or a Shriner?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I know all they shit.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody who went to church was a Mason. They just didn't take the rights to become a formal Mason, but you're underneath Masonic teachings.
You mean you just did?
Anybody, any church, I don't care who it is, you're up underneath Masonic or Jewish teachings. Point blank. You agree with that? You agree with that, OG? Rod?
Look, the church is a Roman mass control mechanism. The purpose of the church is to divorce you from your cultural power source and marry you to the power source of your invading army. The Masonic Lodge, you might be a Templar, but a lot of Masons use the cover of the church in order to conceal their wealth. And this is why you associate Masons with the church, because they use the 501c3 status. Well, before that, they never had to report their income until the advent of taxes and filling out forms for taxes, the Rothschild creation. Right? So you have a lot of the ones that was operative in the church in the AME, but you had a lot of the ones that was contracted was in the Catholic Church and in the basic Protestant church.
Well, we know the AME is pretty much Catholicism. The AME came out of the Methodists.
Right, but we were supposed to be in the AME. Listen, in the AME church, we were supposed to use the religion of Christianity to conceal the network that we needed to communicate the tribes across the land. This is why the Bible Belt was a belt of black churches originally, which were actually tribal communication systems under the cloak of the church called the American Methodist Episcopal Church.
Correct.
And what happened is after Martin Luther King March on Washington, everybody's paradigm shifted from the doctrine of the original church, and the elders died off and got murdered. And this is how they lost the fact that they was covering or holding tribal secrets under the cloak of Christianity, the same as Santeria do it with Catholicism in the islands.
Correctly. And the AME is not the founding colonizers, y'all. Like brother just said, the AME was built. The AME is the one, and these are American, like he said, these are American Aborigines, American Indians, or whatever you want to call them. These are American people. Yes, at this time you had some people coming from Africa, but they wasn't no slaves. They wasn't no slaves. All right. So this whole narrative was to take them back to Africa. But everybody in the AME church say, no, ain't none of that. We ain't going back there. We ain't never been there. So I think right there, at that point right there, with your boy Cuffy and Richard Allen, who was a treasurer of the Masonic Temple before he became the pastor, the first founder of the AME Church, Richard Allen, and we got Allen University here in South Carolina too. Every pastor of the AME Church goes to one of these colleges. You have to go to the AME College or HBCU, also called. So yeah, man. Do you think that's what caused the church to start going and start being looked at in a different way when Cuffy and trying to carry on that Garveyism stuff or trying to take people back to Africa, but they didn't want to go. Do you think this is where it caused the separation and caused the bad look of the black church?
No. First of all, Garvey back to Africa was not a literal expression. If you go into his works, he's telling the people over here to form a brotherhood with the people over there, because the people that was invading over here was also invading over there. In my enemy of my enemy, my friend.
That was before the funding of the KKK, though. That was the old Garvey. That was the Garvey that was dealing with Master Rod and all them boys there, right? Correct.
Just listen. So he write about forming a confraternity, which is a brotherhood of a global scale. When they say con, they mean around the world, in reference to the confraternity, right? And they was using the Liberia movement to usurp the Garvey movement as a back to Africa movement by ship. But he was trying to establish trade and commerce with the tribes of America and the tribes of Africa without these settlers being in the middle of it. Build for ourselves, do for ourselves. Right? So when Garvey get usurped, Garvey get exiled based on a collaboration of a group of niggas that decided that Garvey was a problem. They wrote about it in the paper of the day that Garvey was getting too popular among the people and that his ideas may take hold, and we start doing for self. We start doing business with our own people and making our own global trade networks that bypass the system. So when they get rid of Garvey and exile him, all of the attention is shifting to W.E.B. Du Bois in the socio-political arena, but in the spiritual underbelly, you had Noble Drew Ali was building on what Garvey was being undermined from. He was building at the same time as Garvey, and this is what you call in the military strategy, it's called a collateral attack. That's when you use two different means of attacking the enemy, knowing that one of y'all gonna end up dead. Never did you expect to be exiled and then don't get murdered. But they was all prepared to die. The understanding of the modern Pan-Africanist is totally confused from what the origin of Pan-Africanism was for. They want to use the mainstream out of Africa philosophy of the tribes of Europe that wrote this in Oxford University and pushed a slave narrative to disassociate the people from the Americas from their land. Right? So we not falling for the banana in the tailpipe no more. That's up.
Hey, can I just say something?
Drop down. Oh yeah, Copper Draco. Go ahead, and then we gotta let Yosef get back in. As much as I regret saying, no, I'm just playing y'all. Okay, Copper Draco.
Hey, see, that's why I told you, bro. I'm gonna let them go because me and you can, because you know, every time you speak, you always lead into something else to lead into another question. We can just let you go, man. So I'm gonna just fall back for a second, man. I hope you're still here, though.
You better get your question in, OTK, because we're not going to be here all night.
I did Dawson.
So you better get it in.
I'm good.
That was so delayed.
Mute up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Copper Draco's going real quick. Let Copper Draco go, and then Yosef is next.
No, I was just saying I didn't really want nothing else but just to say I am grateful for y'all letting me up on the panel. You know, I'm always a fanboy of you ladies, but and I appreciate being able to finally talk to you, Rod. Like I've been watching. You know, I mean, first Dorby Sergeant, man. Hey, you a different type of nigga, man. You a different type of nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you different. That's what I was saying. Like you can sit on any panel, man. Like you know how to read niggas the whole nine, man. I'm grateful for that. I like that. But I just appreciate the opportunity. I just wanted to say thank you, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.
Appreciate you coming up, man.
Yeah, shout out to you, Papa Draco. Go ahead, Yosef. Go ahead.
Wait a minute, let me ask Rod one little question, just a small question. Have you ever had a conversation with Dr. Phil Valentine?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was on the panel with Dr. Valentine on Black Magic.
Oh, okay, because I was going to try to call him tomorrow and see if he'd come on, see if y'all could ever, because I think y'all would have a wonderful conversation. I really do. And Bobby him at wherever he is. Hope he's well. But somebody's asking for the link. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Scott, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to pick up on what you were saying about the civilizations, one ending and one beginning. And I just want to point out that the civilization that ended before this one began is what is what maybe, should I say, the system is hiding. And that is African. This is why, I mean, before there was no Africa, because Africa in itself, when you look at the maps, was a forest land. There was nobody living there. Africans were all over the world. Hence why you see all these cathedrals and all these pyramids built, basically. So yes,
hey man,
everything.
Look.
Hold on, let me just finish. Let me just finish this.
Hold on.
No, let me just finish this point quickly, please.
I understand you know you African and all, but this right here, you going down some stuff that we passed that, man. We passed that. We already know the great African paradigm that they've been feeding us for the last 300, 400, 500 years, but we on our paradigm now. We on our paradigm now. We organic to this land.
Not right. Okay,
we ain't
Africans
because Africans ain't even fucking Africans.
I get you. But this is where I was coming to. The land that you claim is your land.
That deserves a bomb and a half. Be quiet. Just be quiet some more. Say that again. Go ahead, Ryan. What you said?
Don't nobody look.
Throw that on him one more time.
Don't nobody organic to that continent call themselves African.
I agree. Because that's a new
false narrative.
Let me ask the question again. Who came first, the Africans or the Americans? Please.
The Americans. The Americans have all in the world.
Can you explain to him why you say that the Americans are older than the Africans, other than the landmass of the continent being underwater? But go ahead, Rades.
Look, the oldest Y chromosome male was found in the Carolinas. The oldest female Homo sapien ever found was found down there in the Carolinas. That ain't no accident. And when they did the composite, they came back to kind of look like me.
We're not following the narrative, because everything that they find, basically, they go to Egypt.
You pushing their narrative, talking this African shit, and we know Africa only been Africa back to the point of the Berlin Conference, when the colonizers divided it up and named it Ifrak, the divided land. And
but
now they come over here. Hold on. Don't cut me off.
Hold on, Yosef. This isn't a debate to go back and forth. You asked a question and he's answering your question. with information. So instead of combating it before you even know what he's going to say, don't you need to listen to the information first?
So he come on, he say, we ain't going to follow that narrative when I'm telling you where the newspaper clippings is from. Telling you the same information of the oldest people. But he want to disregard that. We don't follow that narrative. We going to follow the African narrative that's only 200 years old. Berlin Conference, 18, whatever the fuck it was when the colonizer divided Africa. Africans is not Africans. The people who are organic to the land don't call themselves Africans. They call themselves by their tribal name. The Zulu is the Zulu. The Mindi is the Mindi. They don't call themselves, oh, I'm African. And they want us to call ourselves by the continent of Africa, disassociate our blood right, birthright, tribal right to this land to assume the position of being from somewhere we not from in order for to follow the narrative that they wrote in Oxford University about a slave ship to justify them trying to usurp the land while they was waging war. We don't want to hear that shit. That's their narrative. You over in the UK. You need to be dealing with Charles and them folks. You don't even need to be dealing with nothing with no tribes over here. You'll fight over there where you at. We know who we are. We ain't dumb. We know exactly how long we've been here since the beginning. We emerged from creation with the earth over here.
If you say it long enough, you might
And come up, Neon B. Sorry, OTK. I know you're getting in. I was just going to say, come up, Neon B, and ask your questions. You know you're welcome, sis. You said you had some questions. Come up. Okay, OTK.
No, I was just saying, and the reason why Canada, well, hold on, I got it about Canada. The reason why they England because of the French, because of Napoleon. That's why they get Canada. I mean, the United Kingdom. But anyway, but back, Rod Hayes. You hear anything about this Canadian Immigration Act that was going on for almost like 100 and something years, where they was trying to invite people into Canada?
All of the lands of Europe, what they call crown holdings. You gotta remember, Europe sent us all of the derelicts. Right? But before they sent us the derelicts, we was fighting a war against they exiles. They exiles just so happen to look like us phenotypically, but they from another genetic stock with a different perception of everything. They married in our families to usurp the land from the people. They married the heiresses, the women who had the birthright to the land, and enslaved her family and told them they was working on the plantation at the family farm. We know what happened. We not delusional to what happened. And we know who we are. So anybody that want to push an African paradigm, first of all, you got to get beyond the name of the continent being called Africa. As long as you pushing the agenda that the continent of Africa, then you already pushing a false agenda. You got to get before that. It was different people all over the earth from the beginning. They just so happen to all be dark-skinned people. Some of them had straight hair, some of them had loose curly hair, some of them had kinky hair. But it depended on where they from.
Sorry, Rod. Were we all one people, or were you say different people? Were we all connected?
We was eventually connected, but we merged.
Yosef, let me ask you this. Do you believe that everybody that look like us in America come from Africa? That's what you truly believe? And do you believe that because of the transatlantic so-called slave trade, or because of eugenics?
Good question, OTK.
I just believe we're just one people. That's it.
Who's the we that are one people? Can you clarify?
We that look like each other.
So if you're in Asia and you're dark skinned, like the Dalits in India, you believe they're one with us as well.
We that look like each other. That means anybody that looks like me. The Asian in India doesn't look like me. He might have dark skin, but does he look like me? No.
They got Asians
Kamala
and
doesn't look
Indians
like
that
you.
look like you.
Kamala don't look like us. According to
No.
Kamala, don't look African. She Indian.
Oh,
so she doesn't look
Indian.
African?
She doesn't look African, no. I mean, we've got today's makeup that makes everybody look like everybody. But no, when you strip everybody down to their natural self, no. No. No.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. So just stop. Her father's Jamaican.
Well,
which means he has
opinions vary.
So
opinions
when she
vary.
comes here for her
But
DNA
mine
test and stay straight up Africa, what you gonna say then? What
she
you
can
gonna
say what she
then?
wants.
No. She didn't say she said anything. She said when her DNA test, hold on, so you can be clear of the question that Sister Freedom said, because she didn't say she looks like anything. She said when her DNA test comes back, like all of our DNA tests, and says that she's 30% Nigerian, 20% Benin, and Tobago, etc., and that she's African, are you going to accept her then as being African just like you?
I don't believe in the DNA test.
Well, that's what her family is coming on YouTube saying.
Say what?
Her family is coming on YouTube because they're sick of the rhetoric about her not being black, and they're stating who her family is and who their family is. Who are you to get to choose, though? First of all, you're very narcissistic. I told you that before with this African stuff. I mean, for real though, I can't even see your face.
Sister Freedom. Fair enough. You're entitled, Sister Freedom. That's fair enough. You're entitled to your opinion. But I would say this.
Hold on while she's speaking. Let her finish what she's saying. Yeah,
I have one light child, and I have 2 dark children. So the light one don't even look like the other 2. So what, is she not black because she light skinned? And the whole family is light skinned. It's pretty much.
And Sister Freedom is on point right now. I understand. I don't think she's us either. But Yosef, to your point, you're being very hypocritical of your own point right now, which I thought of all the Pan-Africans or African people were very hypocritical as they started denying Kamala Harris or deny Indians or anything. Because your whole point is to be like the starting point is Africa. So you cannot look at a Dalit in India and say that they didn't start in Africa as well, or look into pretty much you're disregarding the whole world to only focus on American Indians and say you guys are the ones from Africa, even though Out of Africa says they're all from it. But then when you say, okay, so that Indian over there is from out of Africa, no, that Indian's not out of Africa, they're from India. That dark European is out of Africa. No, you can't pick and choose. If you're gonna have a Pan-African out of Africa stance, then you got to claim Kamala and all them too, or you're a hypocrite.
Well, my stepmom looks like she's a passer, and both her parents are black.
That's why I asked.
Claim all melanated people all over the world.
Somebody does have
to find out if it's like African or Pan-African, one out the 2. There's a difference. That's why I wanted to see what he was, because his accent.
What's wrong with two cranes? Put your phone on Do Not Disturb, because I'm tired of bringing it to strand. Your phone keep going out. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Every time somebody calls you, you go out. But just what's the next question?
No, it's Niambi that's next.
Hold on, I wanted to say something before Niambi.
Yeah.
Niambi. you, to your point, Rob, when you were talking about land, right? I think that land also is a qualifier, and it's also proof, right? That, you know, we were here long before there was any kind of like slave trade, because the story will tell you that, you know, it was, you know, especially to Samora. I don't know if you know this brother, but he was here yesterday as well, getting on our damn nerves, and he's back getting on our damn nerves. But the thing about it is that if, you know, up until 1910, 1920, right? Negroes owned over 14 million acres of land. 14 million acres, over that, of land. That is a huge number. Where did that land come from? And who are these people that had this land?
Okay, so to set the stage for it by reminding everybody, nobody was allowed to sell us land. Nobody was allowed to sell us seed if we didn't go through a sharecropper organization. Nobody was allowed to let us go to their schools. All of these things was blocked using pale faces. But the people that was putting the pale faces up to block us was the Black Hand. Some Spanish conquistadors, French Huguenots, and the gentlemen from England. They came from all over Europe. They got exiled in the great overthrow. They're same as what we going now, but this time they ain't got nowhere to go. It's the same thing.
Right. Was Obama considered black?
Obama was a clone.
But I'm just asking the question, was
thought,
he considered?
Yes, he was thought to be black until later
and wait,
on.
let me just say this. His father was African, right? And his mom was white, but she was from where? Where was his mother?
Hawaii.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
which means,
but they really don't know because he was adopted.
Huh?
Do you know that mixed
he was
a different set of people?
He looked like his
black
father.
people. Did you know that?
No.
When
No.
you mix,
and
it becomes
I think instead of getting into the Obama, the Kamala, there was a bigger point. And the point to be had, Yosef, is when you say facial features, we look the same. We really don't. I can show you my sister-in-laws. I can show you my mother-in-law. I look nothing like them.
No,
we have similar color skin, but hold on, Yosef, but we don't look alike. We have different features. So when you say, oh, skin tone, it's hypocritical because this skin tone is all over Asia as well. My same skin tone. But you would say, oh, well, that person looks Asian. So we know they're not the same. So why are you trying to claim us to be African based on our skin tone?
So let me ask you, Dulcinea, if they put you in that same space as these same Asians that look like you, would you say you will fit in? You will be what, as in one with them, or
yes,
you'll be?
Absolutely. My best friend is Indian. My best friend, I grew up with her, and our moms were like best friends as well. And her mom loved my mom. I can't even get into it, but yes. And they used to call her the Indian Miss Parker because she was fine. So yeah, Indians, you can get along with Indians. I think Judge Joe Brown was talking about it one time where he saw some Indians out and he thought he mistook them for us. But their first thing was like, hey, we're not American. No, we're from India. So they will say, hey, we're different. But Africans say we're different all the time if they're really from Africa.
Look, they got tribal. Listen, in Africa, the continent they call Africa now, tribes don't even identify as family until one conquer the other. So how the hell we gonna all identify with somebody that don't all identify as one thing? That's retarded.
And some people are past.
and so let me stop.
And then peace, Niambi. I wanted to say you look so nice tonight. When we haven't seen you in so long.
I know she looks so cute.
Ain't no lie, Niambi looking like a snack. Hey.
Let me hold my wild Indian friend back. You can't just be taking all of them, okay?
Yeah, so
hey,
yeah,
I'm all of y'all. Remember, I'm all of y'all.
All right. Yeah, so I just have a question. Because it sounds like we are like at each other. What type of relationship should we have with the people from the land that's called Africa? What kind of relationship should we have?
You should have a free and open relationship, allowing the people from Africa to remain African and the people from America to remain American. We can't force our identity of our tribal heritage on nobody from Africa, and they sure as hell can't force theirs on us. And this is called mutual respect. We was at war with a different group of people that look like the people in Africa, and they look like the people over here, and they ain't none of us. That's why they was invading and conquering all of us. But we not the same people. We do have ties to people from royal families in Africa, marrying people in royal families from the Americas over thousands of years of intermingling, but our root stock has always been here, and that's just us. We was here.
That's it.
Yeah, I agree
Hey,
with
Rob,
that.
let me ask you this. At this time, you're talking about that we was marrying this nobility from over there, and they was marrying over here. Was all of these people?
Well, I agree that we was all over the world. I actually believe, I can't prove it, but I actually believe that, at one time the planet was a tropical planet and we were melanated. The whole world was melanated at one time. That was one experience, one time, one moment in time. That's what I believe. I can't prove it, but from the stuff that I've been studying, that's just like a theory of mine that this was a black planet. All over the world, we were melanated at one time. But then change happened and a new era came, a shift came, like it's coming now.
The irony to what you're saying is you can find verification and proof of melanated people who claim their ancestors have always been on every continent. The Australians is the only people that said that they migrated from the Polynesian islands to the island of Hawaii. And the genetic record trace that they supposed to have done verified the tribal claim that they migrated across a series of islands that's now underwater that took them to the continent of Australia from the Melanesian people. Right? So it's the same, the people in the bushes in South America. They say they always been there. They not quite dark as us, and they got straight hair, but they ain't Europeans, right? So when you get to where you got the people in Belize, and you start questioning their elders, they're gonna say, "Really, our people was here long before 1492." The same with the Afro Mexicans. They ain't no immigrants. They organic to the land. And then they amalgamated with people that came by ship and by Bering Strait from Siberia and as the dynasties of China, and from Japan by boat from the imperial dynasties of Japan. And that's all in the dynastic record of the Japanese and the Chinese, and how they brought the kings of the land, the many brides on their ships. It's all recorded, and it's not hard to find. It's just that the understanding to push the Western narrative is to usurp all organic people, no matter where they at, from the place they organic to. We organic to the Americas, though we may have phenotypical traits of Africa. We might share the common heavy melanin, and we might share the common kinky hair. But all of us don't got kinky hair. Some of us is darker than me and their hair is straight, bone straight, silky, with no perm and no straightener. But then you got some that's lighter than me, hair nappy as sheep wool. But we still here. We never went nowhere. The grand delusion is to convince us that we wasn't always here. It don't work on me because I know we was always here.
One more question. So, what's the resolve? I mean, to improve our relationship and to get the truth out. What's the resolve? It's the resolve for us to keep going back and forth with each other, the Pan-Africans,